wanted a way that agents could hone their craft and be a part of a larger community, get the resources they need and information they need to know. We cover relevant topics in the industry that will help you close more sales. We talk to top producers and industry leaders to share knowledge and best practices from around the country. So if you want to make more sales, then listen up, because we're dropping gold. Okay, guys, super excited about what's about to happen here. I got the man, the myth, the legend, Brandon Clay. He's finally here, 9 months in the making, to get this man into this Facebook group. It is happening. So I'm super pumped, Brandon. Thanks so much for being on here with us. I just really wanted to quickly do a video with you where we can introduce yourself. Well, they know who I am, but you can introduce yourself to the group. I just want to talk about a few different things in this quick video that we do together. Mainly the focus is going to be on talking about some of the stuff that you hear happening in the MA world right now with President Trump saying that, now we're extending to the end of April as far as their, stay in place rules, and that could extend beyond. So, the telephonic world and how we're conducting business, this is happening. So you can either sit back and let it pass you by, worried in fear, or you can pick up the challenge and say, hey, in the face of this craziness, I'm still going to push forward and succeed, because we have the tools, the knowledge, the training to make that happen, and amazing mentors like yourself who stepping up to the plate to help the broker community. So Brandon, if you want to just say hi real quick to everyone, and thanks again for being in this group.
Well, no, absolutely, Eric, and happy Monday to everyone. Funny thing, you talked about 9 months in the making. Actually, it's probably more like 9 years. It's funny thing, I was an early adopter for certain technology, real networks back in the day, some of the first broadcast streaming stuff that was available on the internet. Got my first account for Facebook probably right at the inception, early adoption. And then for different reasons, I just never really embraced it. And so as a result, it's funny, my life and my time in this industry the last 5-6 years has been somewhat social media less. And Eric has dragged me across the great divide. I actually hooked up my Facebook account, but actually a shout out to Robin. She knows who she is. That actually helped me do this the first go round. But Eric, it's because of you, and to a degree, the extraordinary times we're in, that I felt, okay, this may be the best way for my voice to be heard and to be able to help agents and to give back to this industry.
Absolutely, man. And you have so much to give, not only from the way of knowledge that you share with people. I mean, I know personally of several big shops who are writing lots of MA that you have personally trained and gotten them to this next level that they probably didn't even realize they could reach. And now that they're realizing it and seeing the rewards of it, I mean, they have you to thank for helping train with that, which is why, again, I really wanted you to be a part of this group. I bring a lot to the table, but again, I'm a guy who loves to work on teams. I'm a guy who loves to bring other mentors into the mix who have a ton of great experience, who can also show what you have. And, like I mentioned in the video, so guys, I showed Brandon the video that I teed up for you on Saturday so that he could see and know how I cut it. But, in all seriousness, the amount of books that Brandon has out there is pretty amazing for helping not only in this industry. In fact, Brandon, somebody in here has read your fiction and said that they loved it. And so, I didn't even know you had a fiction book out there. So now I want to get it. But I promoted the 6 Hours of Six Figures because this is a great book where Brandon really talks about how you want to use that final expense as the chassis to basically cross over into the Medicare Advantage world. There's a lot of opportunity. So, but talk a little bit more about your books that you have out and how people could access them.
It's funny, as you even mentioned sort of the setup about the people who I've helped in the last 4 years, very specifically as I came into One Life and now Heartland and started teaching agents how to layer Medicare Advantage onto their final expense focus, their final expense chassis, as I like to say. And even as the coronavirus COVID-19 first started coming out and we knew we were going to have a shift materially in how we would go engage the marketplace, and no kidding, and that's also part and parcel with why I've come across the great digital divide to do this with you in Facebook. I probably got no less than 20 texts, phone calls, and outreaches, a few of them very emotional. And I probably could blubber on you here now, where an agent said, had I not listened to you 3 years ago, I don't know if me and my family would make it through this period. His renewal income is the difference in fearing, struggling. And look, we're going to address the things that those of you that don't have renewals, that don't have fluidity of income, that don't have grant resources, let's address what you can do, because there is still hope for you there. But for those people that took that heeded that message and did it, the gratification, I'll admit to you, it's very gratifying. I mean, you and I talked about this, and even around the books. My books are designed for legacy. And, I went through struggle like all of you would have, got some success, reached out for significance, and now through through written word, looking to leave legacies like you do with your Medicare University. So the books are somewhat fictional. They're really sort of parables about the sales industry. They're really me, someone that mentored me.
Because these books are great reads. If you ask anybody, there's actually on the post that I made on Saturday, several people had responded that they had read the book and they loved the book and it was great. And so, to kind of couple that along with all the training you already have going on with the university is pretty amazing. But more so than that, it's even more amazing. Brandon is sitting here in the group, ready to respond whenever he sees that MA type questions come through that he can lend his expertise on. He will absolutely be replying in the group to help you guys out and make sure we're going on the right path. And then hopefully as time goes on and again, Brandon has such a super busy schedule that if we can, we'll squeeze in, small little trainings every now and then that we can put on the Facebook group to help keep you guys moving along based on what we see happening in the marketplace. So one of the questions I have for you, Brandon, then, you've been in tons of meetings with these Medicare Advantage carriers, with top level people on the Medicare Advantage side. And what are your ears telling you, or what do you kind of get the rumblings are from these carriers regarding if there's going to be, and I know there's going to be an SEP, but kind of like more what it's going to look like, that SEP.
So there's already been a couple of push outs of information, and then quite frankly, the two carriers retracted them as it looks like the government may still be determining what way we're all going to go. At a minimum, the OEP that technically ends tomorrow, March 31st, is going to be extended out for several groups of people. So, we can maybe put a post or a link to the actual verbiage that's listed. So some people are going to continue to have an election. And for those agents that don't know all of this, right now you have to decide if you're going to change plans between, say, January 1 and March 31st. They may be extending that. And then there's always low income subsidy, extra help, and or dual eligible Medicare, Medicaid, and then chronics and some other people that continuously have opportunities to enroll throughout the year. But without the specificity of that answer in terms of exactly what groups and how long, here's what I'll frame out very generally. There is going to be a fairly rapid evolution relative to how Medicare agents engage their clientele. And every day the carriers are issuing another form of opportunity and guidance. So I think, Eric, it's a little bit of that stay tuned, because things are going to evolve over the next few weeks.
Yeah. And when we talk about this evolution, we're probably talking about less strict policies on how we can do telephonic applications, as it's now becoming easily a necessity versus being able to go face to face. Am I understanding that correct?
Absolutely. So, I won't date myself and I won't make every answer so long, but I do think it's worth it framing it out. So when I started in 96, you actually had to be a W-2 agent working for the carrier. I worked for United Healthcare. Then in 2003, Medicare modernization, it opened it up for brokers like what we see today. Then with MIPA, the Medicare Improvement Patient and Provider Act, it stopped unsolicited contact, cold calling, door knocking, porch hopping, specifically on Medicare. And then it set the stage for a very stringent environment and compliance relative to telephonic, virtual, if I would, sales. Now, in 2013, 14, 15, the carrier started coming out with e-apps, much like what a lot of us know now, whether it's life insurance or indemnity or certainly MedSup. E-apps have been around a while. And the adoption rate by agents has been extremely low. But now in this necessity being the mother of invention environment we're in, I was on a webinar the other day with a carrier. I couldn't even get into my registered webinar because there were over 1,000 agents in there trying to figure this thing out,
Wow.
which I know, again, the Medicare University will play a big part in helping agents understand it. So that setup is just letting you know that we've come from where we were to where we are, and you've got to adapt and adopt and evolve very quickly. But here's the really good news there. You're doing it now out of necessity, but when times go back to normal, I don't know what new normal will look like 6 months from now, you will be positioned to do more business than the traditional kitchen table face-to-face agent.
Amen. That is absolutely the biggest thing that I preach, is that, you know, I by no way could have forecasted that this was going to happen. The only reason that I went telephonic 100% is because what I saw was the value in being able to write more apps in less time, because I didn't have to drive places, and it allowed me to expand my territory from my state to 40 states. And so that just gave me such a much larger audience of people to talk to. So I did it for different reasons. I wanted to get back some time so I could be with my family more, and I wanted to be able to still have the ability to scale. And it just so happened that because I had this skill set during this time, you know, it made it so that I really didn't have much of a hiccup. And so just like you said, Brandon, this is a skill set that's going to serve you guys for many years to come, especially as we start seeing that we can cross-sell more and more products as well in this space telephonically. And that's going to also it'll help your bottom line, but more importantly, help to cover your clients better than they currently are right now. So then with that, I wanted to ask one more thing, because I know that for final expense agents who are on here, you know, one of the things that I'm going to be working on is I'm going to be doing a video on a telephonic full script for final expense to help agents out so they can get going on that side. Now, explain traditionally how, or even in this time, people who are writing final expense and are getting onboarding final expense clients, what's the process to be able to cross sell to Medicare Advantage, to be able to offer that opportunity?
Right. So, you know, a little bit more of a commentary, and then we'll go straight to that. You think about it right now in this time of inflection, the need for the hardest product to sell. I always say it this way: final expense is the easiest to learn. Now, no offense, my fellow final expense agents, but it's the easiest to learn, but it is the hardest to sell. So pat yourself on the back if you're proficient, let alone a superstar in final expense. But Medicare Advantage, to contrast, it is the hardest to learn, but it is in theory the easiest to sell. But in this time of inflection, final expense has actually become, by way of apparent need, explicit need, people want to talk to you now. And I'm not looking to sell on fear. That's just not my style. But here is a reality. Right now, people have a sense of mortality. People also know that if they contract a disease, then that might potentially preclude them from other forms of insurance. So the getting is good for final expense right now. So take advantage of what Eric's saying. But once that EBR, existing business relationship, has been established, even in the midst of a telephonic final expense application, you can pivot into the at least initial Medicare discussion relative to getting doctors, getting medicines, things that would help you go back and do some homework. But from there, each carrier has its own process, which I can outline a couple of those here in a moment, Eric. But the reality is, to me, final expense goes first if it can be done that way, even if it's your existing book of clients that you've already sold months ago, and then pivoting compliantly into the Medicare. So hopefully I answered a portion of that question based on that outline.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that, you know, to kind of couple with what you just said, it's actually probably a very important thing for any Medicare agents on here who don't have final expense contracts. Pick them up, because just as he said, this is the time to sell. In fact, there's been an uptick within our own agency. There's been an uptick in final expense sales for that reason, where we're running and calling on Medicare leads, and people are asking us about life. They're asking us about coverage. And so fortunately, we do have some contracts we're able to pivot and make that sale. But it's definitely something that if you are in the Medicare space and you haven't been selling life, that you should consider picking up some life contracts so that you have that available to you. Absolutely. So, listen, Brandon, I know that you're going to have to cut out here and get ready for another meeting. Like I said, I just wanted this to be a great introductory video for people to see what you're about, the knowledge you're going to bring, and again, just to be excited for the future of this group. Because the biggest thing that I keep touting to everybody is that if you're a member of the university, not only are you paying to access the amazing tools that come with the university, but you're also going to be accessing all the ongoing knowledge from some real top level people. And at the end of the day, we just know that what we do, we're good at. We're in a position that we're in because we're good at what we do. That speaks volumes in itself. And so we just want to bring that value to you guys so that you guys can also grow your agencies. And I think I can speak for us both when I say what drives us the most is understanding and knowing that in any little way, if we've helped you to succeed in your career and you can give us just a little bit of that credit, that's what makes us go every day. That's what makes us want to do what we do. Mm-hmm. So any last things you want to say, Brandon, before we end this video for the day?
No, but it's funny, Eric, and not to go longer, but I actually am going to send you a link to a video that I did the other day. Some of it was just cathartic so that I could hear myself speaking, but it basically outlined to everybody, first and foremost, don't panic. But then very specifically is to plan, prepare, and execute. And for those that plan, prepare, and execute, there is actually an expanding opportunity right here and now. And in that vein, if you can gather up the information that Eric is going to give you, be patient with me as I learn the Facebook technology and platform, but I'll absolutely be committed to helping support and do the things that I know will help you guys get through it. I agree with Eric. Right now is a great time, not again in the sense of the tragedies and the loss of life and the things that are happening, but we're a resilient global community. We're a resilient country. And as agents, I mean, I've always said it, that final expense agents are my favorite. They're kinetic. They're porch hopping, door knocking warriors. They don't stand still. This is not a time to let status quo or business as usual have paralysis by analysis. Just listen to what Eric can teach. I'll contribute my 2 nickels, and then let's all see if we can have higher levels of success.
Absolutely. Don't be upset when you see people like us out there saying, guys, keep pushing forward, keep doing something, keep momentum moving, because it's not that we don't understand the gravity of what's going on outside. We just understand that we can only control what we can control. What's going on out there, in large part, we can't control what the virus is doing. We can only control that we're staying in our home, that we're doing what we're supposed to do, and that we're going to continue working and helping cover people as we go along. So focus on what you can control. So don't get mad when we say that. We're just basically trying to tell you guys that at the end of the day, there is opportunity in this crazy time. Let's take advantage of that and grow out of this process so that when we come to what the new normal is, you can look back and say, you know what, that was a really great growing experience for me.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for tuning in. Brandon, thanks again. We'll talk real soon.
All right. Thank you, Eric.
Hey, thanks for checking out the podcast. If you want access to a huge discount on this proven system that gets agents writing business, increasing their revenues, and providing the ability to scale 100% over the phone, then send me a text message at 480-573-7559. This is a discount on the All Access package and applies to life and Medicare agents in the senior insurance industry. If you want access to the product knowledge, the scripts, the tools, the ongoing training, then you've found the right place at seniorsalesuniversity.com. Again, seniorsalesuniversity.com. See you on the next one.